Foul bottom in the house.
You.
Oh my god, I just did an hour and a half of training and I'm tired.
Yeah, it looks like it's still bright there though.
It's still sunny. It's a nice little, what was it, 8:30. Stays late,
8:30.
stays bright quite late, to be fair.
Yeah. It doesn't put our name on there, right?
Does
on
it
the
not?
video that gets exported.
Oh, that's sad. So these nicknames are just for us. Well, for the listener, my nickname is Power Bottom today.
Good. My nickname is Sam Light. I'll have to think of something good.
Yeah, do you have
a
nickname or not?
In my nickname of getting bullied in middle school was Sunshine.
Is that a homophobic reference or just?
Yeah, it's from Remember the Titans. Did you ever watch that movie? You'd love it. It's a great one.
Remember the Titans or just Titans?
Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Basically,
it's like an American football.
Some guy from, I want to say California, he has like long blonde hair, comes to the team and he's much more liberal than everyone else. So they're in the locker room and people are kind of like calling him gay. And then he kisses one of the guys in the locker room.
Yeah.
Anyway,
nice.
it was a slur at the time. It was not meant to be nice.
Well, now it's nice.
Yeah, but now it's nice. I kind of like it. Empowering. How you doing?
How was your week? Yeah, how are you? How was your week?
My week was kind of crazy. I was in Wisconsin last week and then we saw family and that was great. But then my best friend from high school, my high school girlfriend, got married on Friday. Then
I saw, that looked fun.
On Saturday, we drove from Milwaukee to New York, which is like a good 15-hour drive. And then we had our other best friend's 5-year anniversary / baby shower, which is exciting. They're doing surrogacy and they're, gonna have a kid in 6 weeks. So wild.
That's exciting.
What was your week? You got back from Ibiza?
Oh my God, my week was crazy. Yeah, I got back from Ibiza. Well, not this week because it's Monday today, but got back from Ibiza and then I went straight to the Gymshark lifting club and had a training session with the 2 other Hyrox Gymshark athletes, Sinead and Lucy. They showed me up big time because they're absolute savages. Did a full day of filming, so there's a YouTube coming out of that day. And then I went straight to town or city called Nottingham, which it was their Pride this weekend, and BTND did a pop-up store. So we were in a shop called John Lewis, which is like I'm trying to think what it would be in relation to in like America, like a Macy's.
Okay, cool.
I guess. I don't know.
It
maybe.
looked awesome.
But it's basically like a pop-up store within like a store that sells a load of different kind of retailers.
Yeah.
And they for Pride week they put us up. And we had like a storefront, and then we did a load of activations like yoga, run club, and then on Saturday we did like I would say I think 25 people came, and I tried to turn it into like a roundtable kind of discussion about how BTND and myself can have like a bit more of an impact and be kind of like what do people actually need and want from someone or a business or a company within like the gay space to kind of actually help, like actually make a difference. So that was really nice. And sometimes, like, I think you're probably the same. I feel like I don't do enough and I'm always trying to do something. And it was quite nice to hear that people were in the room and they were like, you're just doing enough by kind of being present and having BTND, or in your case, like Pride Fit, like by having those things and having them accessible. Just because people aren't necessarily using them on a day-to-day or regular basis, it has an impact.
Yeah.
So that was nice to hear. And then obviously that like we went on and there was a few other bits that were kind of like more takeaways for me that I can kind of take away and then actually start delivering, and which would be cool.
It's wild because I feel like in business we are so data driven. So if people aren't using the product or every day, or they're not purchasing something, or they're not commenting on your Instagram or whatever, it seems like that's not performing well. But in fact, it seems like they're saying, putting that kind of content out there, having the run club just encourages me to be a little bit more active, even if I'm not ready to go to that yet.
Yeah, I think big time. I think we underestimate the impact of kind of just presence as gay guys within the world of sport. And being confident and showing your life and what it looks like, because that is essentially what a role model is, isn't it? It's like showing the happiness of the other side of what it looks like. And don't get me wrong, like I think sometimes well, a lot of the time, social media like amplifies the level of someone's happiness.
Totally.
But I think people assume that I'm like happy all the time, and
Yeah.
I try and show my lows as much as possible as well. Like generally, I am pretty happy, but there's obviously you're not going to post all the time about how shit your day was or how sad you are or whatever.
That's hard too, though, because it's like I try and really keep things positive because I don't want to complain. I don't want to be that person who's like, woe is me, or it was such a shit day. But at the same time, when you don't show those things, you are lacking that kind of authenticity because it does seem like, oh, things must be good for you all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my week. It was kind of very full on. So I was in Nottingham till yesterday, got back yesterday and then had a full on training day this morning. So went to my coach and did a session with him, came back. My friend came up from down south and we went shopping, got myself a new jumper.
Nice, a new jumper.
Far enough.
Yeah, that looks great.
Hoodie. And then I got a t-shirt with a dog on it.
Very cute dog. Is it a Wheaton?
I have no idea. I just thought it was
cute. His face
cute.
looks like a Wheaton. It's very cute.
And I needed a white t-shirt to go with my new hoodie.
Of course, you gotta complete the outfit. You want to read us in quick? Do our intro one more time?
Welcome to the Out of Bounds podcast with Jake and Sam, where we talk about all things gay, sport, and culture.
I think you should do it every time. I think it brings me so much joy. It's really great. Okay, episode 2. We're still getting the hang of this. We realized last week that we almost forgot to say the name of the podcast. Forgive us for just being dumb little gay boys.
So if you are joining us for the first time, Out of Bounds is a podcast where we dive into sports, health, taboo topics, gay culture, and more. My name's Jake Williamson, and I am a professional high rocks athlete, and I am the only, I think, Elite 15 professional athlete that is out.
Ooh, that's cool. I love that. And my name is Sam Light. I am an entrepreneur and health coach based out of New York. Thanks so much for listening today. Jake, what are we going to be chatting about?
So today's topics are going to be relationships. Our relationships.
Between you and me.
Paul met. Yes, between me and you. Our intimacy. How you and Jared met. And then we're actually going to talk a little bit about the recent Olympics Committee's decision to ban trans athletes from sports, and then wrap up with gay athletes deciding to come out publicly, and should they or shouldn't they, or why don't they? Let's jump into it.
I love it. Cool. One thing before we get started, we've got some amazing guests that we've been chatting about coming up in future episodes, but we also want to know who you want to hear on the podcast. So shoot either Jake or myself a DM on Instagram with your ideas or anyone who you think would be fun. But yeah, other than that, let's jump into it. Okay,
and if you have connections with them,
yeah,
link us to them, and then we can get them on.
Definitely. Cool. Okay, so Jake, tell me about you and Paul. Give me everything.
I feel like most of my followers probably heard the story a million times.
Well, good.
But it's a nice story, actually. So this is something that I don't think people know this, to be honest. So I actually technically got deported from America in a way.
When were you here?
So I was coming out to America to visit. Basically, I'd finished so I was 20, I would have been 20, maybe 21. I'd finished uni and I was like, right, I want to play football. I was doing PT and I was like, right, I want to explore the world. I had some friends that were out in Chicago and they owned a gym space. So I was like, right, I'll go and visit them, like spend some time training and get some like work experience within the gym. So I booked a flight out with a return for like 2.5 months, I think, which is quite a long time for someone to go on their own.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, this was just as COVID was happening. So we didn't really know that COVID was a thing, but I think like government and everything knew how like big this was going to get.
Yeah, shit was going to go down.
I got to Chicago, I got to O'Hare, and I get an anxiety anyway if I see like security guards or like I haven't ever done anything.
Yeah,
like,
I'm so
the
interested.
most innocent person. I'm like the most innocent person ever in terms of like I'll be like scared to like yeah. But anyway, obviously I hadn't done anything. So then I like for whatever reason I get flustered, and they were like asking me. Americans don't realize how harsh the American border control people are for us. They like,
oh, interesting.
So invasive. They're like, where are you staying? Who are you staying with? Like, what are their phone numbers? Like, they literally like interrogate you there and then. So I was like, and then because my 2.5 months, like the way that it worked, it kind of panned across 3 months. And obviously with an ESTA, I don't know if it's obviously, but with an ESTA, you only get 90 days. Like that's like the max you can stay within America if you're a tourist.
Okay.
So then he was like, this doesn't really add up. So then they took me into the back room, and I was thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Took my phone off me. They took my phone off me and then like took me in for like further questioning. And I was trying to explain and be like, oh, I'm just like visiting some friends. And they're like, how much money do you have? Like, how are you going to make money whilst you're here? And I was like, I don't know. Leave me alone. But then, yeah, so they took my phone off me, and they were there. I was in that room for 9 hours, and they were going through my whole phone and everything. And then on one of my group chats, so they printed off like transcripts from my WhatsApp group chats and stuff. And on one of the group chats was like, my friends were planning a holiday in the summer, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure where I'm going to be then. And then one of them jokingly put like, oh, are you going to be in America still, or something like that? And they took that and was like, yeah, you're not coming into the country because we think you're going to overstay your Esther. And
oh my God.
So that was, they took my phone straight away. So I had no contact with like the people picking me up were still waiting for me.
Which like,
not 9 hours later.
If I were picking you up, I'd be like, I think he died. You know, like I think he's in prison.
They were like calling the police and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I obviously couldn't call my parents who were in the UK. And then the people picking me up were calling my parents to be like, where's Jake? So everyone else was panicking. Him. Yeah. And then I got police. So I got put in the back of a police van, like a big like security police van, and then escorted onto the plane by a security guard. So everyone must have thought I was like this like baddie. And then
how often do you think this happens?
I don't know. I think it's more common than people think. But then I flew out there, which is like a 6.5, 7 hour flight. I had 9 hours in custody, or whatever you call that back room, and then another 6.5 hours on the flight. And then I got my phone and had to call my mum and say, can you come pick me up from the airport? And then, so this is when I met Paul. That night, I landed in the UK. That night, I went and did my Tinder thing, which we did last episode. So if you haven't watched last episode, go and watch last episode.
Go listen to it. It's really important.
I then did my Tinder trick and I matched with Paul that night.
You were at rock bottom. I don't think that you would have done your Tinder trip that night if you wouldn't have gotten deported. So what you're saying is Paul should be very grateful for U.S. borders.
For U.S. border control, yeah. Yeah. I wonder if I would have ever met him, or even if I would be out, or whether I would have like played football still. Like my whole life trajectory changed that day.
So the moral of the story is do not do a 2.5 month return ticket. Because if you would have done like 6 weeks, they probably wouldn't have cared, right? They wouldn't have assumed that you were trying to stay.
No.
Okay.
But
that's
I was
young
and naive and
didn't
think that they would. COVID pretty much happened like a week after. So like it was like we were like complete lockdown. So this was the 6th of March 2020, I think. And then me and Paul literally just FaceTimed for a couple of weeks. Actually, we did meet once before lockdown.
On the DL.
Happened. On the DL.
Okay.
On a golf trip. On a golf trip. I was playing golf with Ed. We met in a hotel, and I won't elaborate on any further information.
Did Ed know? Had you told him?
No one knew at this point.
Okay.
Ed didn't know he was scapegoat at this point.
I mean, it should be an honor, you know?
Yeah. He's honoured now.
Okay, good.
Grateful. And we actually do play golf now. So it's quite funny.
So you've been together now for 5 years.
5 and a half.
Are you married?
No.
Do you think that you'll get married? Do you believe in marriage? That's something you're interested in?
I think so. So for listeners, me and Paul have a 22-year age gap, which is something that's common within the gay world, but still relatively taboo within kind of society, and also like another layer in which I had to kind of come to terms with like coming out and who I fancied and stuff. Like obviously I was gay, and then I was like, I fancy old men, essentially. So I was like, oh, this is a fun thing to navigate. But for whatever reason, it is a relatively common occurrence within same-sex couples. But obviously me kind of not really having any role models or friends or family or whatever, I didn't really know this again at the time. So I was again trying to navigate that world. So in terms of marriage and going on and things like that, I think yes, probably like we talk about it and we have conversations around that, and kids. Paul wants kids. I want kids, but there's like I'm 27.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm in like a weird position in my life where I'm relatively selfish at the moment. Like people probably see that from what I do, where I go, the lifestyle I live, and I don't want to
as you should be, by the way. Like
I'm pretty confident about owning that and being like, yeah, that's where I'm at in my life. So that's a thing that we're trying to navigate, and we're pretty good in terms of sitting down and having those conversations, I think. So the communication's there. It's just a period now where we're even like talking about, because Paul owns this house that we live in, we're now buying a house together.
Mm.
So then that comes with this whole, like, you're basically married.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're kind of in that kind of position where we probably will in the next year or two, once things kind of settle down financially and we move into a house, and then we're ready to settle down.
That sounds great. Do you want me to marry you?
Yeah. Do you want to?
I would totally do it.
Where should we do it?
Well, that you're going to have to figure out. I'm just saying that I can officiate the ceremony.
How have you got like a legal, is that like a,
It takes like 20 minutes. Jared did it. Jared did it for his aunt.
can I do it? Can I marry myself?
Yeah. No. You have to have someone else doing it. It'll be a good time. We'll have a blast.
You're married?
Yeah, I got married 2 years ago. Coming up on my
That's pretty much my story.
anniversary.
That's me. I'm done.
The rest is
I mean,
history.
it took me like 20 minutes to get the story out, but it's a pretty good story, right?
Yeah, it's a great story. I love that it starts with you getting deported. I think
yeah. Right, you go. You got to top it now.
So I was at a gay pilots convention in P-Town, and I was training a house of gay pilots. I mean, just very, very random. But gay pilots love to like have that as a hobby, so most of them are quite wealthy. So I was out there training a house, and of course, all they wanted to do when they were there was party. So we didn't even end up really training, but I was 23 at the time, and so I was like, I'm not going out with these people. I'm being professional.
Before you go on, what is P-Town like? Is it crazy?
When I was there,
explain what it is for listeners, because people might not know.
Yeah, so P-Town is on the Cape of Massachusetts. It is known as a gay area of the United States, and it's fantastic. It's really, really exciting. It's kind of similar to Fire Island, if you've ever heard of that. That's off of Long Island in New York. But P-Town is a little bit more of a town than Fire Island is, and I kind of like that. There's like a little bit more going on than just the parties and the beach. So P-Town is really great. I was there during the off season, or maybe like the very end of the season. So it was pretty chill, but there are definitely parties to go to if that's what you want to do, but then also restaurants and shopping and beach and all that kind of stuff too. So it's just a little bit of a hike to get to from New York, but P-Town is really great. So anyway, I was in my room one night and everyone was out partying, and I was just scrolling through Instagram and I saw this incredibly hot guy. It was a production photo from a production of Frankenstein, and I was like, holy fuck, I need to message him, do all the digging. And so I did, and we happened to hit it off that night, only for me to find out that Jared had been following my like fitness account for a while. I didn't know, but
had he messaged before or not?
No. He had been a voyeur. He had been watching. But I sent the first DM for sure. And then from there, Jared was living in Boston at the time, and I was living in New York, and he would come to New York for auditions like every other month. And we would go on dates when he would be in the city, but it was really hard to date long distance, and we weren't really like either in a place to do that. And so that kind of fizzled out a little bit, especially because then I went on tour for about a year. And then halfway through tour, we were in Dallas for 2 weeks, and I had an Airbnb, and I was like, hey, would you ever want to come out to Dallas? I know that's like kind of crazy. We don't really know each other that well. This seems like it could absolutely be make or break it, but would you do it? And his best friend at the time, she was like, absolutely not. Do not do that. And then he decided to do it anyway. So then he came out. We had the best weekend.
Are you still friends with his friend?
Yeah. I love Taylor. She's the best, But
does she regret it? Does she regret it?
She does regret it, but honestly, it was probably the right choice for her to say, like, don't do this. How dumb, but good to be a little spontaneous sometimes. And we just had the best weekend ever, and it was very much make it. It was a huge signal that it felt like we were on the right path. And so we started dating from there. And then we were dating for like, I guess a year, and then the pandemic happened. So then we kind of started moving in together, and the rest is history. We got married after like 4.5 years, I think, in Wisconsin, because we both happen to be from there. I don't even know. I think I said his name is Jared.
Are you the same age?
And we are the same age. He's a year older than me in school. So we're like this, born in 1994, but yeah, he was.
Do you think have you ever crossed paths before in like sports or?
I don't know. I guess maybe we might have auditioned for some of the same things, but not really. He was in Boston pretty exclusively for a while, and I was in New York, so I don't think so. You know how we might have crossed paths is that he was born in Green Bay, Wisconsin, which is a half hour away from where I was born in Appleton, Wisconsin. And I know for sure that my dad went to school with his aunts and uncles,
No
and
way.
his mom dated my high school girlfriend's dad. And so there's definitely like a lot of crossover there, but we never met or went to the same school or anything. And the rest is history. That's it.
And you live together, and you have a
We live
dog.
together. We have a dog. Her name is Meryl. She's gorgeous and perfect. We're obsessed with her.
How much grooming does she require?
No grooming. She just sheds all
Really?
the fucking time. Like she
Really?
sheds so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Roxy's
and
bad.
she loves to swim. So every time that we're around Lake Michigan and she kind of like goes into the lake, we're having to brush her all the time. But ultimately, she doesn't like need to be groomed because she loses that hair so frequently. So like she always smells great and like, yeah, but lots of
Yeah,
hair.
she's cute.
So she's great. But yeah, the big question now is like when we want to have kids. And it's a very similar conversation where I'm like, I'm 30. I'm not ready to do that. I very much like what you said in a spontaneous, selfish part of my life. And I want to make sure that I am ready to devote time to kids. I know that I want that and Jared wants that, but it's just a matter of timing. And timing for gay relationships and kids is complicated.
So you've got a few friends that are going through that process. I'm not too familiar. Like I've not really kind of done enough research. I've not had friends that have gone through the process.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be interesting for me, obviously, but I think other people would be interested in hearing what is the process like. Like obviously you don't have to go like crazy detail, but like it obviously costs money. And
It's a lot of
American
money.
laws are different to the UK laws, but
it's a lot of money. It takes a long time. There seem to be a lot of things that can kind of stop the process or slow down the process if something doesn't take or you have an unexpected result or something like that. I've seen people who kind of like breeze through it, and then I've seen couples that completely get derailed, and then they're like, well, I think we have to put a pause on this because I'm just like so emotionally distraught. So do you feel like surrogacy is kind of frowned upon in the UK, or am I making that up?
I didn't have that understanding, but the more I think about it, like looking at that Italy law that just passed, maybe there is a negative connotation to it, but I don't know. I don't really know why. But I don't personally have. I didn't personally know that there was like a negative connotation to it. But I think it depends what type of person you are, to be honest.
Yeah, totally. So we'll just kind of see. I mean, we've also talked about adoption. We've talked about timeline. It's all complicated.
Yeah, I feel like I personally would prefer to have my own child, like my own offspring.
Totally.
I'm aware that like by coming out and living that lifestyle, you don't necessarily get the luxury. And some people might call you selfish or not selfish, but there's obviously plenty of kids that need a home and a nice, happy place to live. But selfishly, I think I would prefer to have my own offspring. But I've never really thought too much about adoption, to be fair. But I think I remember a thing that I wrote when I was kind of coming out was that it was like a quote. I can't remember who it was from. It was like the fear of losing was more powerful than the prospect of gains, and the fear of losing out on like having that utopian lifestyle of like wife, kids was more important to me than like the prospect of meeting a guy and having a relationship with them. So like in my own head, that's a big reason why I didn't come out, because of that fear of losing that football career or that family potential lifestyle, rather than like what I've got now, because I didn't know what I had, like the prospect of what this could be.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot about our partners throughout the podcast, but I figured it would be a good idea to give some background as to who we're talking about, because I feel like I'm going to mention Jared all the time. You'll probably be mentioning Paul all the time. So should we dive into our next topic?
I think so. So as we touched on, we're going to do a few different segments throughout, and this one is in the gay news. But in the news.
In the news. Yeah, so this past week, maybe 2 weeks ago, there was a decision from the Olympic Committee to ban transgender women from Olympic women's sports. And this is coming from an obligation to comply from the executive order that Trump made. I think that we both can agree that we're not a politics podcast by any means, but this does kind of feel like an important thing to talk about, just because this... I think the most frustrating thing about it is that it's just a distraction. You know, I don't even think they give a fuck about this kind of ruling, but it's a really good distraction talking point for them. And that's very, very frustrating. Just so that there's a little bit of background here, the International Olympic Committee used to allow individual sports federations to set their own rules for the Olympics. So sports like track and field and cycling and swimming, they did this. And this is a quote from NPR. The NCAA changed its participation policy for transgender athletes to limit competition in women's sports to athletes assigned female at birth. That change came a day after Trump signed the executive order intended to ban transgender athletes from girls and women's sports. And I think that, like I was saying, the shitty thing about this is that rather than having an ethical and kind of robust and fair conversation about this, it's completely tainted by conservatives wanting to use it as an incendiary talking point to like kind of rile up their base. And I think we both agree, not to put words into your mouth, but we've kind of chatted about this before, that these rules need to be looked at and we have to make decisions about them. But I think that the ability to be objective with all of this bullshit with executive orders and, you know, like Riley Gaines crying on Fox News all the time is completely thrown out the window. And I don't know how we can constructively open the debate floor back up with the right people at the table, not people who are just trying to like use this conversation for political gain.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think, like, regardless of what your thoughts or decisions are on this, I don't think it's ever done in a nice way. Like, it's always done in a way that's like
Demeaning.
prejudice or like to really put down a minority. It's like I can completely, from a personal perspective, understand people's views on trans women competing in women's sport. Like I can see the argument. I get it 100%. I just don't think that the way that it's done is firstly nice. I think it's transphobic. And I think, as you said, like they're not doing this other than to completely rile up your kind of people that support you and political biases. Like it's, and I feel like I can't really talk about the subject. I'm not a woman and I'm not trans.
Yeah.
So I'll protect the trans community as much as possible. And I'll like to have these nice open conversations around, and it's interesting, right? It's an interesting topic. It's something that we've not probably had too much of a conversation around. But I just think that the problem from my perspective is you have the people with the loudest voices are normally the far left and the far right, which then creates a dialogue across media, and then news outlets and media outlets use those voices to put across opinions that feel like every trans woman or every trans man believes this, or every conservative person, right-wing person believes this. And it's like, in reality, you speak to most people on a day-to-day basis and their views will be relatively in the middle.
Totally.
Like, obviously there's a people that are kind of leaning and reading. In the UK, we have the Daily Mail, which is kind of like a paper where it kind of pushes those political things. But yeah, I think like that's what I try and kind of say to people. It's like, but then the problem is like these legislations get put in place by Trump, who then has the final say rather than actually educating himself, having the conversations. And then it's things like that which make it bad.
I think that it makes a lot of sense in that, you know, conservatives have always said, get the government out of my life. And this has changed now, where now the government is saying, no, if you don't make this rule that I want you to do, I'm going to cut your funding, or I'm going to make it so that your business can't work. And rather than what the Olympic Trial Committee was doing, which was allowing for sports to come up with these legislations themselves, now they're just going to be bullied into it. That seems absolutely batshit to me, you know?
I think it's good that there is kind of like a, not saying this is good, but I think it is good that like there's almost like a blanket for all sports. Like it's like it makes life easier, I guess. If like this is the rule, this is what happens. But then, as we've seen, the rule is like it's like, yeah.
If the rule came from conversations that were legitimate, you know, where the right people were at the table and the decision making was not coming from fear or from political gain, I would agree with you. But it feels like when you make these kind of blanket statements, and they are directly related to this kind of executive order legislation, then you've lost. You know, the objectivity of creating fairness, it's gone.
Yeah, it's a shame that it has to become political as well, because Like being trans and being gay isn't politics.
Yeah.
It's like, this is our lives, right?
Totally.
I do, as I said, like I do see the biological and advantage in certain sports where I
Right.
think that there's a fairness point of view, and I think there's like, but it's like you even look at, and I can't speak too much on it because I haven't done the research personally, but like just reading the news articles and things, but like the Caster Semenya case and the unfairness against how she or they were treated, it's almost it's that kind of, it's like it's unfair. So I think just by having decent and like everyone was too scared to even just have a conversation around it.
Yeah,
so they just
which
like
also
basically
is a
bullied
problem,
her
for
out
sure.
of the sport. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
how are we in this position?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the answer is, but I do think that we're not giving this conversation a fair chance in this current political climate, and kind of steamrolling these rules into effect is such a disservice to incredible trans women who are unbelievable athletes who work really fucking hard and who just want to compete in sport. I don't know what the answer is either, and I hope that we have guests
I think
on.
we should, if anyone wants to come on and they've lived these experiences and wants to put their opinion across, then like we'd love to kind of touch on this topic a little bit more, because it's such an interesting topic, and I think from our perspective it's like we just want to learn as well. We don't know, we don't have the answers. We're learning as much as you are. Like we want to support and help. We both personally love the trans community, so I think if we can listen and understand and educate ourselves as well as others, then we're all in. Like that's kind of what this podcast is all about, is like going out of bounds and listening to. Thanks. Yeah, I thought that would be good.
It's good.
But listening to people's genuine, and if you disagree with us or agree with us, like we've both already said, like that's fine.
Yeah,
we're not gonna sit and argue, and we'll have a almost conversation and honest and open discussion about it and be like, I believe this, but that's okay. You believe this, that's also okay. Like we're not saying that your opinion is wrong. Well, sometimes we are, but wrong.
No, I think that if you're coming to the table with respect and a willingness
100%.
to kind of understand and learn,
100%.
I think we're both very much on the same page about that.
Yeah, nice. I'm glad we are.
Okay, cool. Yeah, me too. Okay, moving on. Our next topic is really interesting, I think. And I think that it's something that we're going to be chatting about a lot because it comes up a lot. So, Jake, who are some gay athletes who are in the closet who you think should come out?
So, firstly, no, I'm joking. I'm not actually going to do that. We might get sued.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
There are some.
But it is good for us to talk about this because I think that we all want to understand why in 2025 gay athletes wouldn't be coming out. Like, I get it to some extent, but I think it can be really frustrating. I think that like being a professional athlete in a lot of ways comes with so much privilege, and with that privilege, I hope that people are willing to be an example for other people. Kind of like what we were talking about before, that, you know, sometimes people just need to see other queer people coming out so that they feel like they have an opportunity to do that too, you know?
Did you see I put a question Q&A post on my
Yeah.
today?
What'd you get?
So they're all probably quite similar, but yeah. Fear of being dropped, overlooked by people who have outdated attitudes. I think opinions of others is definitely a factor, isn't it?
Like whether of their teammates?
Whether it's work or athletes or teammates or coaches or fans. But I think that's just like, I think they overlap with being athlete and just general life.
Totally.
I think it's because major worldwide sports stars haven't come out yet while still playing. Again, role models, big part of what creates, like, you can't be what you can't see.
Well, and that's a good point too. Not only would worldwide high-level sports athletes coming out be a big thing for general population to come out, it's also they're going to be influencing all other athletes to come out, you know? It feels like something that needs to be happening. That we need like a Ronaldo type figure to come out, and then it'll be easier for everyone else.
Homophobia and transphobia in general have been on the rise the last couple of years.
I agree with
Hard
that.
to disagree in it.
Yeah.
The man up kind of whatever it's called.
Yeah, that
mentality.
Sports are kind of inherently masculine, and you're kind of like ruining that balance by coming out.
Ugh. Sharing locker room spaces and allowing yourself and others to feel comfortable, safe. So again, that
we've already talked about this. Everyone's looking at each other's dicks anyway. Gay or straight.
Most people are cleaning each other's. Holding them.
Oh, God damn it.
Because homophobia still exists, it's hard for anyone to come out, athlete or non-athlete. Things are getting worse, not better, and that's amplified in the public eye. because it's seen as a weakness, like you're not fully a man, easy to ridicule. Yeah, I think like it's so easy to use gay as an insult, isn't it? That it just like if you're just being told that from the age of like 3 or 4. Like my coach has a young kid. I can't remember. He's got 2. I can't remember how old they are. But he came back and was like, he said they were at the dinner table, and he was like, he said, last one to do something is gay. As like clearly learnt it at school.
Were you last?
I wasn't there. He was telling me.
Okay.
Yeah, it was at the family dinner table, but just like came up and just said it.
Yeah.
And then like him and his wife were like, firstly, where did you learn that? Like, do you know what it means? And then had to kind of like tell, but like not everyone has that kind of parenting where you can actually you call it out and say this is what it means. Like some people like some men like men, some women like women. And then he was like, so dad, are you gay? Which I thought was funny.
Yeah, very cute.
But it comes from such a young age. Like he's like 4.
So with all of these reactions of people kind of saying like homophobia is on the rise, it feels like it's not a safe thing to do, or it makes you less masculine, makes you less of a man. Does that make you feel like that's kind of an adequate reason for people to not come out? Or I know that you don't really believe that, but like to some extent,
I
like,
I think it's harder to say, because I think like I genuinely believe if I still was in that environment and playing football, I don't have an answer as to why, but I don't think I would be out now.
You would have been outed by your Tinder trick.
Well, maybe. Well, I didn't up until then, so I think I was doing all right.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, you look at like almost all major sports and you can't think of one gay athlete. You look at like Tom Daley in diving.
Gus. It's quite a
niche
sport though, isn't it? Gus Kenworthy.
Gus, yep. There's some football players who are out now that they're
Josh
gone.
Cavallo, yeah, he's in the Conference North now in the UK, so technically professional still.
One of our coaches for Pride Fit is technically the first out strength and conditioning coach for the NFL. And that's
cool.
crazy too. I mean, like that other people just working for the NFL haven't felt comfortable coming out, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy. Rugby's pretty good in the UK. I don't think like professional really, but
it's such a homoerotic sport. It makes sense.
But it's pretty yeah. And they're pretty like, it's very much like support, I think. Like if you're a rugby lad, although it's like a bit of a stigma and a stereotype is like, but it's like, I feel like if you're in that community, it's pretty close and pretty safe and like, yeah,
did you read
a good
up
space
on,
to be.
Like a couple weeks ago, there was that probably from like one of the gay websites of being like, these rugby teammates made out after their game or whatever. Did you read up on that? Who was that?
No, it was kind of hot though.
It was hot. It was cute. Very cute for them.
Find out who they are. They're not gay though, are they?
I doubt it, but we can have them on the podcast anyway.
Yeah.
Say you did such important work for the gay community.
Pro rugby teammates French kiss goes viral.
Like, why did they do that?
Both men stood shirtless. I don't know, but it's a proper kiss.
Well, props to them. Really doing gay visibility.
He's publicly out as bi.
Oh.
Is that the same guy? Oh, no.
You can't have misinformation on the podcast, so I need you to make sure that this is correct.
Just outed this guy.
Just
Chiefs
totally.
Irish lock, Jack Dunn, is publicly out as bi in the English top Premier League. Let me see. That's not the same guy that kissed him, though, I don't think. But there is a bi guy. So we can get the bi guy on.
Okay, yeah, we'll
Jack
get the
Dunn.
bi guy for sure.
Get him. Jack Dunn. Yeah, I think there is a few more in rugby than there is anything else.
I think all this says that kind of what we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast. It is so important to have visibility, and I would love for more professional athletes to be willing to come out as gay, because I don't know if I necessarily buy anymore that they would get dropped by their agents or they would get sponsors anymore. You know,
I think the biggest thing is like if it's a big sport, like the media coverage and having to deal with that when you're not ready yourself.
Yeah,
because it's like you're going to go from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah. Did you watch Ted Lasso? Are you a Ted Lasso fan?
I did. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. They did it well. I thought
they did it well too. I think it's totally okay for what Sam what's his name? Colin. What Colin did in deciding to come out publicly and say like, but this is not going to be something that I'm speaking on regularly, in the same way that other people in their professional sports don't comment on their heterosexual relationships publicly. I think that's totally fine. But it's also so impactful that he did the initial coming out, you know, that he was willing to be open with that in the press and then make those boundaries after that.
It'll happen. There's definitely kind of like more conversation around it. So there's like players' brothers and things are gay. So Aaron Ramsdale is a goalkeeper and his brother's like out, and he talks about it quite publicly about his support for his brother and things. So there is that kind like you're seeing it a little bit more, but only I'm seeing it because I'm kind of not in that circle, but like was in the football world, so I keep an eye on it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I
mean, what's interesting,
it will happen.
I think it's interesting that in the acting world, the big reason why actors won't necessarily come out publicly is because they're afraid that casting directors and directors will only see them playing gay roles in the future.
Gay roles.
Yeah. And I don't think that that's necessarily true. You know, if you present gay, then they'll see you in that way. If you present straight, I think they'll see you in that way. And I think that generally actors or directors are pretty good at being able to see that properly. But I guess maybe there is some truth to it. It's just person dependent. It's not industry dependent, I don't think. And I think you look at someone like Jonathan Bailey, who has done a really good job of playing gay roles and straight roles really effectively, is publicly out. And that doesn't mean that he can't be like a heartthrob for these teenage girls in Wicked or in Jurassic Park, you know? And I think that he's doing kind of like the best work in advocacy, and he's incredibly talented. He's fucking hot. I feel like he's like doing the entire thing right now. He's holding everyone up when there are so many people in the acting industry that like are not willing to do that.
He's a vibe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we could get him on. I think he's too big time for us.
He might want to. I don't know. We'll send him this clip. What if we send him like a personalized intro video wearing tiny slutty glasses?
Both of us in tiny slutty glasses.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Guys, if anyone knows Johnny Bailey, tell him to,
I feel like you've got a good shot at this. You're both from the UK.
I think I think I was at 1.11 degree removed, whatever the saying is. You know, and you're like, you're only 1 degree away from someone.
Do you know
I'm pretty
Kevin
sure
Bacon?
my friends, no.
You don't know who that is?
Well, I know who he is. Yeah, my friend's friend was, I'm pretty sure was dating him at one point.
6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is the game where you're like, any actor can be linked to Kevin Bacon through movies they've both starred in within 6 steps or less. So you're only 1 step away. Well, then you definitely can do it. Did the relationship end poorly?
I don't know. I'll have to investigate. I'll come back.
You'll have to investigate. Yeah, okay.
I'll be back. Bye.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about athletes coming out, gay people?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
God, it's not that hard, guys. Come on, you can do it.
Just do it.
Just do hashtag just do it. Wrong brand.
Nike.
Gymshark.
I don't have any affiliation, so I can say just do it.
Oh, you can do whatever. Okay, you can do it. Yeah.
What is the Gymshark slogan?
We do gym at the moment.
That doesn't even make sense, though. We do gym? We do gym?
We do gym. Tell.
Amazing. Okay, great. I'm going to talk to the Gymshark people. We'll come up with a better one. Okay, what does your training look like this week? Let's wrap things up.
I'm all over the place
pulse
this week.
Check.
So I had a pretty big day today. Trained this morning, did some strength work, did some squats. And then I did...
Is it always back squats for you?
It was back squats today, but not always. Front squats are pretty good.
Yeah.
And then tonight I did a high rock session, but I'm trying to make my training a little bit longer. So I did half an hour run at a tempo before, and then a 45-minute high rocks, like basically like a simulation session. And then tomorrow I'm in the altitude chamber in the morning.
You love that altitude chamber.
I love that chamber, yeah. And then
Does it
I'm
make you
driving
feel
down
like you're
to
dying?
London.
Like you're just fully hyperventilating, or?
No, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad.
Yeah.
You notice it, and it gets really hot in there because there's no wind or anything. It's like when you're on a stationary bike, you get way sweatier than out on a bike ride.
Well, if you want to do some heat training, it is 95 degrees today in New York City. It's 97 degrees tomorrow. We're having a heat wave. It's great.
Nah, pass.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
And then I'm in London
terrible.
tomorrow. I drive down to London. I have an event with Beats tomorrow night, and then I have a Gymshark event on Wednesday night, and then I drive to Devon for a wedding,
so
which
many
is like
events.
South Coast.
How do you get your training in when you have so many events all the time?
This is unusual. This 2-week period. I'm not usually this busy.
Okay. Yeah.
But like that's like both of those events are workouts.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
So I'll train before, and then I'll go and do the session there. So it's like a longer type session, which would be cool.
Does that stress you out when you have a lot of events and like your training is kind of like not routine?
I feel like I'm used to it now. Like I feel like I get the best out of it. Like I utilize it, and the only events I go to are like training events now.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
So I like, if I go to London, I'll like really utilize my time. So I'll go to the gym there, and then I'll go and have like 2 or 3 meetings with like people that I need to go and see, and then I'll go to my event, and then I'll feel really productive, and then I can go away, and then I'll be like, right, I've ticked those boxes, they're all done, and then I can focus on training. Because at the end of the day, like I still have to make money. As much as like competing in High Rocks is great,
Totally.
like, I still have to go and work and create my business and support.
100%.
Yeah, I need to do those things as well. As much as it's like I do live a very nice, easy-ish lifestyle, I guess. Most people probably wouldn't think so, because I'm about to run for an hour tomorrow in an altitude chamber.
Totally. Different kind of hard.
I create a lot
Choosing
of
your
I create
hard.
a lot of spare free time for myself,
Yeah.
which is now basically purely like a recovery thing. So it's like I try and explain to Paul, I'm like, I'm not being lazy, I don't want to speak or do anything for like 2 hours because I just need to recover.
Totally.
But I was listening to a podcast yesterday, or like an audiobook. I downloaded Audible because I'm an educated guy.
Sponsored.
And there's a reason why you get so tired after like presenting or talking for so long. And it's based on your like oxygen, carbon dioxide. So when you exercise, you breathe more, which is like fine because you're like burning more calories. You're like basically burning. But when you're sat down and you're talking, you then breathe more, but you're not actually burning any calories or whatever, which means you have more oxygen and almost like less CO2, and you need CO2 for the hemoglobin to, I'm getting really sciencey, to
Science
then
podcast.
Convert. Yeah, but I was like, oh, that makes sense, because I'm always knackered after like podcasts or meetings or.
Yeah.
So like it kind of makes sense.
I
And
am
like
too.
that's why teachers are always like fucked. That's the first time I've sworn on the podcast today.
Is that true?
Well, just today.
I think I've said that
I swore
for
in the
like
last one
6 times. What book is it?
Sorry,
Is it
mum.
Breath?
Sorry, mum. No, it's not Breath, but it's the oxygen advantage.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm.
Interesting.
How's your week?
I'm getting.
Sorry, I waffled along.
Yeah. What in the world? It's waffle.
Sorry, I like talking.
No. I got back into the gym today, and it was a hard one. My body's not feeling ready to get back into training. So
it's hot though. You don't realize how much the heat takes out of you if it is a heat wave.
Totally. And I drank a little bit yesterday at the baby shower, and that also fucks me up quite a bit. I try not to drink at all because I'm just such a baby about it. But I was basically just doing prehab and rehab stuff. So trying to make sure that my knees and my ankles are staying healthy, my hips, because I'm finding that as I do more and more high rock stuff, those are kind of the things that are getting the most screwed up. So Mondays are my big strength prehab day. And then tomorrow will be my first day back of like big aerobic training. That'll be good. We'll do a CrossFit workout and we'll do a run in the morning. And getting into it, doing Boston in 6 weeks.
Marathon.
A great time. No, Boston
High
High
Rocks.
Rocks.
Sorry. My fault.
Yeah.
I was thinking about running. I switched off. It's late for me. It's 9:30. This is like my bedtime.
I know it's late for you. And then last thing, what are you learning or unlearning right now? Were you like mindset, physical?
We've got 8 weeks till my next race. So we're doing 4 2-week block of training and just trying to fix my lower back a little bit because it's still playing up a little bit. But yeah, I've had quite a lot of driving this week. So I downloaded Audible, and I feel like I'm more productive. I love listening to music, but I feel like I feel more productive if I've like listened to a book or like listened to a podcast or something. So I've done quite a lot of podcast listening and educating myself. I'm in like a learning phase at the moment in life. Like I asked Paul for guitar lessons and golf lessons for my birthday. I used to play the drums when I was a kid. I feel like I want a talent that I can be able to like be like, oh, I play guitar, and then just like.
We can do a band together.
Can you play?
I sing.
Or vocals? I was actually going to be vocals and guitar, so you can be back up.
Of course you were. Okay. Yeah. Of course.
What have you got? Give us. Come on. What are you
learning? I
learning?
don't know if I have anything right now. I think that my big thing that I'm trying to remember is that the past 6 weeks for me, I feel like we're not completely on track for training, and that's okay. It was a lot of family time. It was kind of our vacation time. And I'm trying to very much ease my way into training so I don't hurt myself and so I don't burn out and that kind of thing. I'm just trying to remind myself that that's okay. You're going to go through phases of sustainability and unsustainability. And I am excited to kind of get into this next phase of training. So it's good.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like
Should be
I'm not struggling with it. Like I love, this is my passion and my dream to be like an athlete. But like when you dedicate and you go, right, I want to be the best in the world, which is kind of what I've said. Like you don't really, yes, I'm going to Devon for a wedding this weekend, but like training, it comes first to me. Like in my head, I'm like my training structure. Like I sat down with my coach this morning, I was like, I'm here this day, this day, this day, this day. And we've already planned the week of training and how I'm going to train and what gyms I'm going to be at. So like if I did have like a 6 week where it's like busy, I'd feel so like I've got to this point now where I'm like, I feel like I'd really struggle if that was me.
Yeah. Which I want to be really clear is not what most people are going through. And it's not what we like recommend for general population, you know, like you're a professional athlete.
Completely.
And people who are just trying to be healthy, you do not need to be working out that much, or your world should not be revolved around your fitness or your nutrition or anything like that. But I think that's one of the things that is really challenging about social media for me is like when you see something on social media, there's not some kind of disclaimer that says like, hey, this advice is for professional athletes. It doesn't apply to you. And then there's not advice that says this applies to general population. It's not applying to the top 1% of athletes. They're going to do something different. You know, people need to kind of be judicious about what kind of content they're consuming because you have to decide if that is actually going to apply to you.
I genuinely think it's like take bits and pockets and stuff, but do what makes you happy.
Yeah,
like
totally.
For me, training and living this lifestyle and like this is my job.
Yeah.
So and I love it and I choose to do it. But like as you say, like if you have that 6 week and that's what makes you happy, then obviously still try and move and train and keep on top of things. But yeah, it's not the be all and end all, is it?
No, definitely. Okay, Jacob. Does anyone call you Jacob?
No.
No one?
Nope. It's not my name.
Is it not?
Legally, I'm Jake.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, well, that's disappointing. Thought that was going to be a thing for you and me, but whatever.
You can call me Yakub.
I'll just call you Power Bottom.
PB.
Okay, PB, what is next episode about?
Next week, we have our first guest. Can you guess who it's going to be? We're also going to do our first segment of Coach Me Daddy. So if you want to get health or life coaching from us because you're crazy, then shoot us a DM and you may be featured. And finally, we'll dive into what fitness trends are healthy and what are bullshit. So we hope you tune in and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Thanks so much for listening, y'all. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to the podcast. We're also on YouTube, so check us out. And we'll see you back next week. Bye.